Assalamu alaikum learners. So today we are going to learn about pasteurization, and this is our video lesson number 2. Learning objectives are: discuss why dry milk or dry meat can be stored for a longer period of time as compared to other storage techniques. Describe how effective is flash boiling and pasteurization for milk storage. Describe the role of preservatives in storing material.
Preservation, processing of food to prevent their spoilage and to retain their nutritive value for long periods is called food preservation. Preservation of food helps us in the following ways. It reduces the food wastage, increases the storage period, helps to transport food to distant places, helps to store food for seasons when they are not available. Now, let us discuss about some methods to preserve food. Canning. By canning, food can be preserved for a long time, but flavor is affected. In this method, food is heated to high temperatures to kill the microbes and spores. It is then sealed in cans or other airtight containers. Drying. This method is used to preserve vegetables, fruits, and some meats. In this method, water is removed from the food so that the microbes die as they cannot live without water. Curing. In curing, salts or smoke are used to remove water and kill microbes. During smoking, the food is held over a wood fire. This kills the bacteria and molds and gives the food a delicious flavor. For salting, the food is either soaked in salt solution or salt is rubbed on it. The salt draws the water out of the bacterial cells, thus killing them. Pickling. In pickling, vinegar or oil is used which kills the microbes and protects the food. Oil prevents the growth of bacteria. Jam making. Sugar syrup is used to preserve food because sugar prevents the growth of bacteria. Jams stay for a long time without getting spoiled due to the sugar syrup in them.
Through the milking claw and piped immediately to a very large refrigerated bulk tank at the dairy. Milk is warm when it comes out of the cow, about 100 degrees, but is quickly cooled to about 40 degrees in the bulk tank. The milk is loaded each day into a large truck that transports it to a processing plant. Milk is tested for safety and quality before it goes into the truck and again when it arrives at the processing plant. The milk is then pumped from the truck into the processing plant. At the processing plant, milk is pasteurized.
Pasteurizada.
The pasteurization process heats the milk to 160 degrees for 16 seconds to keep our milk safe. The milk you drink at school is always pasteurized. Finally, milk is packaged into bottles and cartons or made into other dairy foods you love, such as cheese and yogurt.
Students, now you must have got idea about pasteurization. This is a way so that you can preserve your milks. Basically, it started with milk and some drinking stuff for a longer period of time. Pasteurization is a heat treatment process that destroys pathogenic microorganisms in certain food and beverages. Who invented the process of pasteurization? The process of pasteurization was named after Louis Pasteur, who discovered that spoilage organisms or bacteria could be inactivated. Inactivated means they cannot start, spoiling the food. They become inactive in wine by applying heat at temperatures below its boiling point. The process was later applied to milk and remains the most important operation in the processing of milk. So even now, whatever you get, like whichever milk you are using from the grocery store, it is mostly pasteurized so that it can stay fine for longer. And purpose of pasteurization. Let's look at the purpose. The goal of pasteurization is to render the milk safe to drink without curdling or coagulating, like it doesn't curdle, altering the flavor substantially. People who are accustomed to drinking unpasteurized milk may find the pasteurized milk has an off flavor. So students, this is about, like, we are city dwellers. Most of the time we get our milk from grocery stores, so that milk is packed and it's already pasteurized. But if you get milk directly from the milkman, you might taste it, you might think that it tastes a little bit different. Remember, not all pathogens or bacteria are removed during the pasteurization process. So pasteurized milk is not 100% sterile or germ-free, but many people consider it to be safer to drink than raw milk which has not been pasteurized at all. The bulk of the milk sold in commercial grocery stores is pasteurized. So now you know that the milk that you get from milkman, maybe that milk is not pasteurized. And why do we need to pasteurize that milk? When the milk comes out of the cow, when you're milking a cow, that milk is safe. But then it is handled by many people in many utensils, so there comes bacteria in it. That's why you have to pasteurize it. But when you get it from milkman at your home, you can't pasteurize it. Obviously, you don't have that. What do? You do flash boiling. You boil the milk and then you keep it cold in the refrigerator. Forms of pasteurization. The main forms of industrial pasteurizations are double pasteurization. Splits the process up into two segments. There are two parts and is not recognized as legal pasteurization method by some governments. Some governments think it does not serve the purpose, like it does not kill the pathogens very effectively. Second one is extended shelf life, or ESL. Milk is pasteurized at a slightly lower temperature and passed through a special filter to remove microbes. The filter is so small that it can remove the microbes or the bacteria. High temperature short time is the pasteurization in which the milk is brought to the temperature of 71.7 degrees Celsius and held there for 15 to 30 seconds before being rapidly cooled and packaged. Ultra high temperature, UHT. Pasteurization involves bringing the milk to 138 degrees Celsius for less than a second, while batch pasteurization is performed at a very low temperature, with the milk being held to temperature for 30 minutes before being cooled. So you must have heard, when looking at or watching the TV commercials, you must have seen that they say, okay, do buy our milk because it's UHT treated. What is UHT? So now you know it's ultra high temperature type of pasteurization in which it kills microbes. Commonly pasteurized products. So the common products that you get and you don't even know are pasteurized. For instance, butter, cheese, cream cheese, sour cream, yogurt, ice cream, nuts, sauerkraut, eggs, lobster meat, crab meat, and in liquids, mostly milk, honey, vinegar, fruit juices, cider, and lemon juice. Methods of food preservation. So you have already seen those methods. Let's revise it. Like, have you ever wondered why we can store dry milk for a longer time? Have you ever seen that sometimes your parents are drinking tea and they're not adding liquid milk, but they're adding powder milk or tea whitener? Could you please think why you can store dry milk outside and not in fridge and it doesn't get spoiled for like quite long? Okay, some of you might have thought it right. It is because it does not have water in it. It is dried. So there is a very few chances that bacteria can grow inside that. So preservation involves preventing the growth of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms. First one is drying. It reduces water and prevents the growth. Freezing, in which you keep your food in the fridge and does not let the bacteria grow. And then there is vacuum packing, creates a vacuum by making bags and bottles airtight. In absence of oxygen, the bacteria cannot grow again. Salting and pickling, you must have seen there is added amount of salts in it, in something, maybe sometimes meat or other things, and they suck the moisture out of the bacteria and they can't grow there. Canning or bottling means sealing cooked food in sterile bottles and cans. This container is boiled and this kills or weakens bacteria. Gelling is a preserving food by cooking in a material that solidifies to form a gel. Fruits are generally preserved as jelly, and students, you must have seen lots of food coming in cans. For instance, sometimes corn, sweet corns, mushrooms, pineapple. So they come in can because sometimes they're not grown in those countries, but they want to have that food. What they do is, the countries that have those foods or things in abundance, they preserve those foods and in the cans and ship to other faraway countries where they do not have those foods or things. So that's how preservation is very important for. Okay, food preservatives. Now there are some chemical food preservatives. Apart from other food preservation practices, we add chemicals in foods, sort of chemical. To delay the spoiling of foodstuffs by microorganisms, antimicrobial substances are used which inhibit or stop, sometimes delay that it happens, like we say, okay, you can preserve this food for 1 month. That means they have delayed the growth of bacteria or prevent the growth and production of bacteria. Sulfur compounds, don't get too confused by looking at these codes. They're just for your knowledge, students. These are the codes that you can find at the back of the food packed food that you get. If they have sulfides, it would be coded as E221 and 228. To inhibit the growth of bacteria, it's mostly present in dry fruits, vegetables, in vinegar or brine. Brine is basically salt solution. Sorbic acid, its code is E200. So instead of writing the whole thing, they just write codes at the back of the packed food. Can be used for many different purposes, including the preservation of potato products. So that means it must be present in your, yes, you're right, in your chips that you get, the packed chips, cheese and jam. Nitrate and nitrate, E249, 252, these are used as additives in meat products such as sausages, hams, to protect against the bacterium. Benzoic acid, E210 and 213, are antibacterial and antifungal in foods such as pickled cucumbers, low sugar jams and jellies, dressings and condiments, like you use different sauces. Okay, have you ever seen such codes that in the bold in the slides at the back of a packed food? I hope you must have seen it. So when you see it next time, you would know what type of food preservative they have added in that food. Now students, it's a testing time. Try to answer these questions on your own. What is the role of pasteurization? Who invented the process of pasteurization? You need to answer it quickly. I'm just giving you some time to think about it. Okay, next. What other things apart from milk can be pasteurized? Name any two. What would be the harmful effects of not pasteurizing milk or other foods? You better know this. Now students, let's move to the end of our slides. We have learned food preservation, that is ways to preserve foods for longer using salt, sugar or drying or refrigerating them. Pasteurization, that is heat treatment process that destroys pathogenic microorganisms in certain foods and beverages. Chemical preservatives, chemicals added in packed food to prevent growth of bacteria and is used for a longer time, and we have read about such three groups. That's about it, students. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson and you have learned about it.